I want to see this. This is what I'm curious about. What does IGN say about Assassin's Creed? I'm curious because Assassin's Creed is not doing Ubisoft any justice, right? So let's see what they're saying here.
It's wild that it took almost 20 years and dozens of games for the biggest stealth action series around to finally bend towards feudal Japan. Assassin's Creed Shadows makes the most of that theme with a great pair of shinobi and samurai heroes sharing center stage that are fun
That looks pretty cool. I didn't see that before.
to skulk through giant castles or wade into vicious battles with. Besides the setting, the bulk of
I will say this. Aside from the game being historically inaccurate and people complaining of it being how do you say it? How do you say the word? Offensive towards the culture. I couldn't think of the word. I don't know why. I am thinking of this as just a video game in general. I'm not trying to relate this to anything that may be real. I'm not trying to tie it to anyone's culture. Obviously, it's a video game, so people that take offense to those things, to each their own. But I want to look at the core aspect of the game, and that's what I'm interested because I will be
the
playing
changes
this.
this time around focus on making smaller tweaks to well-established systems, such as less cluttered maps and skill trees, while also doubling down on things that really worked in 2023's Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yeah, I one of the things with Assassin's Creed games in general is there's so much fucking things on the map that when I'm running around I get distracted because I feel like I have to go collect this music scroll or I have to go climb to the top of this tower to jump off into a bale of hay, sorry. Or I have to go and see what this chest has because they might have some gold. So Assassin's Creed, that shit right there actually distracts me, and then I don't end up finishing a lot of them. I can't remember the last time I finished an Assassin's Creed game.
Like the more focused combat that accompanies its better paced main quests.
Okay, so you can cut people's limbs off. That's been known. I actually like that aspect of the game. So we'll see how it feels though when I
It's not a
play it.
perfect reset, as imbalances and missed opportunities abound, but I feel more confident than ever that Assassin's Creed could be back and here to stay.
And once this is done, I will never take up the sword again. Let us get this over with.
Like a river in the rainy season, Shadow's story overflows with cliches and tropes, but morally complex intersecting plots
Does that look bad? Like, does that fighting look
still keep the
bad?
intrigue high, which is the same trick that made
I don't
Assassin's
think it
Creed
looks
Valhalla's
great,
stories
but I don't
work
think
when
it's
they
like
did.
something to
I
complain
don't think I
about
was
yet.
particularly wowed by any of the writing on a regular basis, but there are some standout moments of tense reflection and curious
So he's pretty much telling us the story's shit. So if you're playing this game for the story, it's not gonna be that exciting.
happenings sprinkled throughout.
Who is behind these murders?
I don't know.
The typical Assassin's Creed conspiracy woven into it fits perfectly within the war-torn Sengoku period of Japan too, like a hidden blade snugly in its wrist sheath. It's still a bit too full of go here, do that quests as bridges between major moments, but Shadows is organized in a way that can be enjoyed in pieces and at your leisure without getting too lost between plot points. Almost like how one might enjoy a good book. The leads themselves are wonderful. You spend a lot of the early
While I'm watching this, I'm also listening to see if he's saying things that have like double meaning or a velvet dagger, right? Because sometimes when these guys review games, they can't be completely honest. So they'll say things that sounds like it's good, but it's got like a double meaning or something like that. And what they actually mean is like, hey, look, I can't say the game's shit, but literally this game is shit, but let me polish it up and make it look nice just for the review.
game with the sharp-witted and brooding Naoe, who is among the last shinobi warriors of the Iga clan, a role thrust upon her by tragedy. That tragedy befell her in part by the hands of the charismatic Hulk Yasuke, who
All right, I'm just gonna go back to that little assassination.
thrust upon her by
All right, so she is standing here, stabbing dude in the throat. This guy is just like, hmm, what's going on? He doesn't scream. He doesn't freak out. He just sits there and is like, all right.
tragedy. That tragedy
And she just pokes him in the eye or
befell her
something.
in
I don't
part
know.
by the
Whatever.
hands of the charismatic Hulk Yasuke, who is a tireless warrior for justice and peace. When they begin working together, they are frequently each other's most reliable counsel, with different perspectives on the events going on around them.
Perhaps in that chance lies the seed of redemption for each of us.
In other words, they truly do balance one another. And while I don't think either one would win popularity contests against some of the other series stars like Ezio or Edward, together they serve as a bright light in the center of a largely dark tale.
I
of
like
revenge.
that part right there, the comment. Shooter. Thank you for the
Most
sub,
of the
man. I
missions in
appreciate it,
Shadow
bro.
starts on the refreshingly
Appreciate the sub,
intuitive
brother.
objective board.
31
Thematically,
fucking months,
this
man. That's a
approach
long
matches the
time, bro.
tone of using all of the information you gather to identify hidden members of a secret society trying to plunge Japan into chaos. Functionally, the way it organizes outstanding tasks and the people involved is far more useful than the old bulleted quest lists. Selecting
This
a
looks
quest
like,
gave me a short list of clues to help discern where the objective
what's that game?
was. Past
Just
Assassin's
Cause
Creed
or something.
games have tried
Just
versions
Cause,
of this
yeah.
before,
I don't know if you ever played
but
that.
this one is the first one that I felt consistently made me look at my map and actually deduce where the spot in question might be. Rather than lighting up your map with a galaxy of tooltips, Shadows mostly relies on sparse points of interest.
31
icons
months
to
is a
push
long
you
time,
towards
Shooter.
the
I
areas
appreciate it,
you'll
man.
need to
Thank
see in
you.
person. Even when you climb up to the signature high points to take a good long look at your surroundings, you'll see a bunch of these things that tell you that there's something out there, but you're gonna have to go check them out for yourself.
I don't like that. I'm gonna tell you right now. I haven't played it. First impression, that shit right there that's telling me there's something out there, I fucking hate that. And I don't know how other people feel, but I hate that I'm gonna. Because when I play a game, I have to try so hard to just stay through the main objectives if I want to beat it. Because any little thing glimmering or any little thing that I hear off to the left makes me want to go investigate it. And yes, that's fine. But when it comes to me completing games, it is my demise. I cannot finish games because I'll go off to save this person from getting robbed, and that'll lead me down this side quest to where I am now seeing things glimmer off to the side, and I have to stop the side quest to get these things that glimmer. But then I remember, oh wait, I have to go do this side quest, and on my way there, I see something else. Like maybe a fucking music scroll. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get this music scroll because even though I'm never gonna 100% platinum this game, I would like to attempt to get as many of these collectible items as I can on my way. And then I fall into another side story. And then the process repeats. And next thing you know, I'm 15 hours into the game and I've barely completed anything. So if that's what's gonna happen with this shit, and I can already see I got some question marks there, I got tower over there to go jump off of, and I already
To
have
know what? I love this.
a
I
negative
could
impression
feel
on this.
my
This guy
brain
loves
starting
it though.
to detangle the checklist conditioning that years of these games have instilled in me. Most of these undiscovered locations fall into a number of reliable categories, like castles you can infiltrate and attempt to steal special gear from, or any of the many villages scattered across Japan. But you can't be sure unless you take them in for yourself. A common thing I would always stop to handle whenever I came across them were world activities. These are smaller locations and events that, when completed, add knowledge points to your characters, adding new options to their skill trees. Not all these events are exciting, but they often don't take too long and the points are worth it in the end. And some can add an interesting distraction from the action for a short spell.
So, a bunch of shit that
Between
I'm gonna have to
outings, I
fucking
spent some
do
time at the hideout. After
to make
collecting
my
minerals,
character
crops,
better.
and wood out in
Okay,
the world, you can
got it.
use those resources to build and upgrade important buildings here that give you access to new assets. I spent the majority of my time at the forge managing my equipment, while other important buildings provide features that can be
And
managed in
she's
places
fat.
outside of the hideout, like the new summoning ability from the dojo, which let me call in help from certain allies I met during my adventure. I'm glad I didn't have to dote on this place very much, as I personally can't be bothered to decorate a homestead. But
How do I
those
feel
who
about
can
this?
won't be disappointed by the amount of cosmetics available to find and
I get to
buy.
play with a fucking kitten, and there's a
This
warthog in the
version of
back. Okay,
1500s Japan is a beautiful place. There's such a
that
symphony
might
of
be the
color
bane of
over
my
every hill and
existence.
across every lake. Each season brings with it incredible landscapes, sometimes covered in the copper brown of autumn or entombed in deep white snow. I found the weather to be some of the best I'd ever experienced in an open world. It was hard not to be moved watching powerful winds pick up and bring in rolling thunderstorms, especially when nature reacted to it all in real time, as flocks of birds take flight and ground critters
I don't
scurry to
feel like
find
he's being
safety.
genuine
And
about
not for
this
nothing,
part.
but in my dozens of hours in Shadows, I encountered remarkably few bugs for a game this size. The 40-hour main story revolves around unmasking and eliminating members of a deadly organization called the Shimbaku. Once you've chosen a target, their multi-mission arcs give you regular opportunities to handle the situation with either Yasuke's
It's gonna have African Assassin's Creed, but everything's gonna be Jamaican about it.
In general, there are remarkably few quests where Naue isn't better suited for the task at hand.
I'm not allowed here. I should be quiet.
If the Assassin's Creed playstyle is a combination of concepts like exploration, parkour,
I'm gonna play this,
stealth,
man,
and
so
combat,
hopefully
Naue can do all of these competently, excelling at parkour and stealth in particular.
primary weapon a
While
machete.
Yasuke can't climb very well or sneak around much due to his size and general lack of grace.
So he's just a big brute.
I meant to do that.
He is a devastating force in combat, but Naue can simply sneak around most situations that Yasuke
I would not want to
for,
play him if he's
solving
like
them
that.
with so much less trouble. As much as I like Yasuke, he's far more limited and one-dimensional, with large parts of this game not quite designed to take advantage of his strengths. It's particularly disappointing because Shadows does find ways to tailor missions around both of their skills on occasion, usually in bigger, more pivotal, and more important battles where both heroes need to operate together to succeed. These special missions are separated into sections that allow you to choose
I'm
which
trying.
to proceed with, changing what's asked of you depending on your choice.
I'm trying to
awesome.
remain like
They
a
made the more
non-biased
homogeneous
approach to
space
it, so I
between
have an
these
open
moments
mind.
a
But
real
I don't know
bond.
how I feel about that. It's hard,
Combat
man.
overall is more challenging and thoughtful than in the past. Enemies, especially in groups, are more aggressive and tend to have solid defenses. Both in that
He
they
just
block a lot,
he
but also
he watches her stab the dude in the throat. She goes to attempt an assassination on him, and he says Marine Corps, and fucking does a wrist lock like he's fucking on goddamn tan belt McMap level, bro.
in that many of them are armored, essentially giving them another life bar. Effectively taking them down means having a solid defense of your own, dodging and deflecting their blows to make them vulnerable, and taking advantage before they recover, though the
He
camera can really
McMapped.
struggle to keep all of the action in frame. Straightforward combat encounters really sing when playing as Yasuke, whose suite of weapons are all perfect for decimating enemies. Even outside of his toys, he's a juggernaut of a man, being able to literally run through walls and shake the earth with his blows. Naue is very fragile by comparison, and while capable of doing lots of damage when enemies are vulnerable, she gets overwhelmed easily by mobs, especially well-armored bruisers. On the flip side,
Damn.
Naue is a menace when striking from the shadows or catching enemies unaware.
I'ma play. If I could play her the whole game, I will. I like that style
Some new
more.
features, like being able to crawl and dodge while prone, as well as some returning ones like her Eagle Sense and the long missing Double Assassination, all of which add up to make Naoe one of the most robust assassins in the series.
Yeah, see, I like that right there.
Enhancing your combat abilities is mercifully less tedious than Valhalla's skill constellation. Naoe and Yasuke have skill trees focused on their weapons and specialities, with every node feeling far more impactful than simple passive damage bonuses, which still exists, but in small amounts. Gaining
Okay.
new abilities is obviously the most impactful, but some of the real hidden gems add new functionality to weapons, like being able to turn certain attacks with Naoe's chain sickle into grapples that let you pull enemies
that'll
into
be fun.
obstacles or off of cliffs.
Unless I'm getting stabbed in the back with a spear, of course.
Speaking of excess, Shadows takes a big step backwards from the work done around your inventory in Valhalla or Mirage. There are far too many pieces of randomized, color-tiered gear to pick up from fallen foes or earn as forgettable quest rewards that had no chance of making it into my rotation. Some might do as last-minute stopgaps to keep your stats in line with the bad guys, but only until you find that next piece of legendary gear or earn enough resources to level up a piece you already like. The skills in legendary gear, like this armor that has a chance to negate range attacks entirely, are impactful in a way that the generic buffs that you get from the lower tiers of gear never even come close to.
Alright. Before he gives his verdict, from what he said, he's gonna give it above a 7.0. With me, without playing this game is looking at like maybe a 6. I haven't played it though. That's just from the impression of what I've seen in this video. Damn. Why does my throat hurt?
Assassin's Creed Shadows takes a flashing blade to the series' established norms, trimming them to a more precise form in lieu of chopping them down outright. Combat is aggressive and requires more intentional parrying and skill management than in the past. And exploring the gorgeous provinces of Sengoku period Japan is encouraged thanks to a revamped map that de-emphasizes collecting icons and checking off lists. Naoe and Yasuke are well-realized and memorable protagonists, even though most of the story they drive follows pretty predictable paths. Both have unique playstyles that bolster each other's weaknesses, but they are ultimately imbalanced by the fact that you can make use of the stealth and exploration skills of the master shinobi far more than the superhuman strength of the samurai. This isn't the Assassin's Creed that will change the minds of folks who have never connected with the series before. But for those of us with lots of hours logged into the Animus, the sum of Shadow's parts provide a refreshing realignment that you should not skip.
An 8. You gave it an 8. You gave it an 8. I don't know. We'll have to see.
For more